I'm glad you could join us today at this time for our let's say early week devotional. It seems that there are many things that stack up in our world today, the things that cause us distress, the things that cause us to be concerned, the things that cause us to worry, the things that we cannot handle, the things that we don't know what to do with. And we begin wondering, what is tomorrow going to be like? What's next week going to be like? Next month, next year? What's going to happen? I'm always reminded of a passage, and it is a couple of chapters long, and we're not going to read the whole thing, but I want us to think about this idea that sometimes we begin to worry over things that we cannot do anything about. We can't change them. We can't fix them. Uh, we can't hold them at bay. We think about this idea of now we have the coronavirus, and we have this and we have that, and in this part of the country we have been burdened with an excessive heat wave, and crops are failing and things are happening, and we strive to wonder why these things would happen. But so often we are no different than Job. We see the things that disturb us and we cannot fix them. We become upset. We become distraught. I want you to listen to this passage in Job, the 38th chapter. We'll read the whole thing. It may take just a moment. It says, Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Dress for action like a man. I will question you, and you make it known to me. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding. Who determined the measurement? Surely you know. Who stretched out the line upon it? Or on what were the bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with doors when it burst out from the womb? When I made clouds its garment, and thick darkness its swaddling band, and prescribed limits for it, and set bars and doors, and thus far shall you come and no further, and here shall your proud ways be stayed. Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the skirts of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It is changed like clay under the seal, and its features stand out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and their uplifted arm is broken. Have you entered into the springs of the sea, or walked in the recess of the deep? Have the gates of death been revealed to you, or have you seen the gates of the deep darkness? Have you comprehended the expanse of the earth? Declare if you know all this. Where is the way to the dwelling of light, and where is the place of darkness, that you may take it to its territory, and that you may discern the paths to its home? You know, for you were born then, and the number of your days is great. Have you entered the storehouse of the snow? Have you seen the storehouses of hail, which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war? What is the way to the place where the light is distributed, or where the east wind is scattered upon the earth? Who has cleft a channel for torrents of rain, and the way for the thunderbolt? To bring rain on land where no man is, on the desert in which there is no man, to satisfy the waste and desolate land, and to make the ground sprout with grass. Has the rain a father, or who has begotten the drops of dew? From the womb did the ice come forth, and who has given birth to the frost of heaven? The waters become hard like stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the chains of Thetis, or loosen the cords of Orion? Can you lead forth the Mazzaroth in the season, or can you guide the bear with his children? Do you know the ordinances of heaven? Can you establish their rule on earth? Can you lift up your voice to clouds, that the flood waters may cover you? Can you send forth lightning that they may go, and you say to you, here we are? Who has put wisdom in the inward parts, or given understanding to the mind? Who can number the clouds by wisdom? Who can tilt the water skin of the heavens when the dust runs into a mass and the clods stick fast together? Can you hunt the prey for the lion, or satisfy the appetite of the young lions when they crouch in their dens or lie wait in their thicket? Who provides for the raven its prey when the young ones cry to God for help and wander about for lack of food? And he continues this in chapter 39. These questionings about nature that are so vast and so big that we often do not understand the totalness that's there in. You see, we need to remember that God created this world. He set it on its axis. He brought things to the point where they belong. He made mankind. He established everything that there is to be established. He's put them in their place. And there are times when things are going to be bad, but he says, are you one in control? Do you have any control over these things? He asked Job that. Is there anything that you can do about any of the things that are happening? Quite frankly, the answer is no. I have no more abilities than any other man. I can't stop the rain. I can't stop the wind. I can't change the heat. I can't bring snow to this land. See, there's not anything there that I can touch. It's God's creation. It always reminds me of a verse. And I think we need to look to these things in this way, and whatever it is that's happening around us, realize that they are works of God. They were put in place, and in nature things occur. But the one thing we must remember is that God created, and God seeks man to glorify him. In Psalms, the 8th chapter, we're going to read one verse, the first verse. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. You see, we serve a great God, one who built, one who created, one who made things that we cannot even imagine. Who are we to question? Who are we to question? This world belongs to God, and we live within it. And if we belong to God, then we should be glorifying God, seeking to live for him, seeking to do his will, and when things are bad, remember that it all belongs to God. I hope that as you go through this week, you can think about this idea that it's all up to God, it all belongs to God. And things happen in time. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do to shut it down. The coronavirus will work its course, and yes, we may be able to help people live. We may be able to help people do certain things. The sun is going to be hot, and it's going to scorch the earth. And yes, we may be able to put air conditioner in the house, but we cannot cool off the temperatures that are out there. In all the things that we face, we must realize that God is God, and this is his world. He seeks to help man in many ways, and yet it's difficult for us to understand because we can only see what we want here and now, not realizing what God may have in store for us that might do us much better than the things we look for. I ask that you would lean on God, seek his strength. This world is this world, and it's the way it is. But we can have comfort. We can glorify God, we can seek him, and we can seek his comfort and his mercy. I hope as you look at these things this week that you will realize that God is a merciful God. And God is planning something in his world that is far beyond anything we can understand, preparing us. as children of God to stay strong, to be His. I hope that you have a good week. I hope that you will join us toward the end of the week for another devotional. God bless each one of you, and y'all have a good week.